Right then, by far and away my most requested video I've ever had is Ellis' genuine opinions on Porto, and Ellis, what are your thoughts on Benfica? So let's get into it. By the way, if you're English and you're watching this and you're like, oh Ellis, stop talking about Porto, there's also going to be some explanations in this video about why I talk about Porto so much and my actual opinions on them compared to English football. So there's going to be everything. There's like English football comparisons, Porto and Benfica. So let's get right into it. Let's get the elephant out of the room straight away. My genuine opinions on Benfica were kind of morphed from when I first went to watch Porto. Literally the first or second video I ever made about Porto, Benfica fans then latched onto it and decided to come at me and send death threats my way. I hadn't even ever mentioned Benfica once, and yet I was already having death threats, which kind of then, if you've never had an opinion on anything, bearing in mind that I came to Portugal initially to watch Porto, I never had any opinion of either club. Like, I knew both of them were massive clubs. Like, obviously the first Champions League final I ever watched was Porto against Monaco. So like, I came into this thing open-minded. Like, I didn't love Porto straight away. Like, that never happened. Like, I came over, everyone knows this, for the first game against Sporting like 2 years ago and fell in love with Porto then. But that didn't mean necessarily, I didn't know enough about the rivalry to then have an opinion on Benfica, if that makes sense. So to initially get death threats my way was really weird, and I think it was because like, Benfica see themselves in Portugal as the bigger club, which from England's perspective I think both Porto and Benfica are seen as like on the same level from like most English people, because the Portuguese league doesn't get much coverage in England. It's like free to watch on some channels, but really there's not much coverage of it. I think like I'm the only English YouTuber that has ever spoken about Portuguese football, which makes me a target for Benfica fans because I've aligned myself with Porto. Like, I get that I'm a target, but I don't think threatening my life is anything that's really good about it. It's just spiraled from there. Like, I offer banter art to Benfica on Twitter, and I try to get bites. Fair enough, you're going to be watching this like LSU provoke it, and yeah, I do. But I get called cancer, I get called every name under the sun. I get told they're going to rape me if I come to Lisbon. I get told loads of things, and the worst thing that's ever happened was when me and Jody went to watch Porto Benfica, the 1-1 game in 2018, sorry. Someone actually Snapchatted me a video of me and Jody walking around Porto saying they were going to come kill me and that I was scum, which is weird. It's a weird thing to deal with. Even with all of that, I know that there is some nice Benfica fans I've spoken to. Like, not every single one of you is horrible, and I understand that, but my main opinion of Benfica fans is marred by the ones that they want to kill me. So yes, I don't like a club in which the fans want to kill me. So there's that. Moving on to the next thing is, do I genuinely love Porto? I've made a whole video about this before, but I'll touch on it again now, and the answer is yes. Whenever I go to Porto, I'm at my happiest. Jodie can vouch for this, she's with me all the time when I go out there. Apologies to Ben and Charlie. I'm not going to forget you. You're like, oh, Ellis. But seriously, like, I step in the stadium and it's just a warmth. And like, this is what sums up my love for Porto. So after the Benfica loss, when Benfica won 2-1 the other week, by the way, just quickly, side note, I'm not mentioning that game in this video. Like, Benfica won, move on from it. But when I walked out of the stadium, it didn't feel like a loss. Everyone was still warm, people were still chanting. And that's what I love. It's like a family. And I feel like I've been accepted into a family, even though some Porto fans still don't like me, which I get. I get that perspective. Like, I go over to Portugal, I'm English, I've been affiliated with the club for like, what, 2.5 years now, 2 years? And you see me doing really cool stuff, and I understand that may annoy you. So don't get me wrong, like, I understand that can annoy some people, but just know that I feel like immensely grateful for that, and I can't explain that enough. Like, I'm literally living my dream. And I know that can make some people jealous because I know what I'm doing right now is some other people's dreams. Like, I get that. But you need to know that my love for the club is genuine. Like, also another myth is that Porto pay me. I've never been paid a penny by FC Porto. Why would they pay me? Think about that. That's just weird. My flights are always covered by myself. My hotels are always covered by myself. And there's been times where, like, so for example, the last video, Superboc invited me to do a video with them. That was Superboc. They gave me the ticket and they got me to do this thing because I was giving coverage to their experience at Porto. So that's not Porto giving me a ticket, it's Superboc themselves because I'm marketing for them by doing the video. And also another thing, so for example, my season sponsor FOTMOB. The way it works is I get essentially a budget to work out of, and I actually lose money by doing Porto videos. So why, if I was money hungry, would I do Porto videos over other videos? Because I'm losing money by flying out there. It's more expensive than going to like down the road, which my other videos are. I'm not gaining money by doing Porto. If anything, I'm actually losing money, and that's the honest truth. So yes, I love Porto, I love the fans, I love everything to do with the club, and that is the most genuine I can be. So much so that I actually kind of don't enjoy other games as much as I used to, because I know I could be out there, and essentially as soon as the opportunity does arise where I can somehow move out to Portugal, potentially whether it's working with the club, hint, hire me, no, I'm joking. But yeah, if the opportunity ever presents itself where I can move out to Portugal, then that's the dream. Live in Porto or live closest to Porto. Yeah, so if you need a guy to be a social media wizard for you, you've got my number. You don't, no one's got my number. I don't even save numbers in my tangent. Yeah, so people have asked me some questions about what the general consensus is of Porto and Benfica in England, and I'll say that no one knows about any of the allegations about like bribing refs or anything from either side. That's not reported in England. Portuguese football is not covered in England, like, at all really. If you want to find out the news, you can find it out, but finding out news directly, that doesn't happen. And like, for example, Porto are in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Everyone wants to play them. Even over Ajax, everyone wants to play Porto. So it's weird. It's not weird, it's just how it works. Like, English football and the English media cover England, Spain, and maybe Italy because Ronaldo's there, but that is about it. France as well for PSG, but even then, there's not really that much coverage. So I would say definitely the consensus in England is that football over there isn't really relevant here, which makes it even more weird for people to accuse me of using Porto for relevance and stuff, because if I wanted to be relevant, so before I went to Porto, my whole audience was very much engaged in English football. The English people watching that will agree, they'll back me up with that. And if anything, me going to Porto has actually cost me my audience and has alienated the English side of it, because it does annoy some people that I go to Portugal, whereas the Portuguese people love what I'm doing. But if I'd have never gone to Portugal, there would be no Portuguese people to please, and I would never have Porto. So that's the thing. And everyone always asks me, Ellis, you used to support Leeds United. I've been very vocal on Twitter saying that I do still have a feeling for Leeds United. Like, I'm not going to pretend that I don't still love Leeds. But Porto are definitely my main team now, and that's just how it works. I can't explain. I never had that connection with Leeds. I've said it before, but I inherited supporting Leeds for a family member, and I only went to like maybe 10 Leeds games in my life, and I've been to like, what, 7 Porto games now already, and it's been 2 years. And that's another one. Everyone says to me, Ellis, you only come to Porto for the big games. I mean, that's not true. We came to Nacional, came to Leipzig in the Champions League group stage, and we'd already basically qualified out of the group. So yeah, there's that. That's my opinions on Porto and Benfica. Yeah, I hope you understand why I'm not too fond of Benfica, and I hope this clears up that I do actually love Porto. And yeah, I don't know what else you want me to say. Leave a comment on any questions you have, and I'll be sure to address them all, because I like to be helpful. Even though I don't look it, I do like to be helpful. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy. Well, enjoy. Bye. Bye.